Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Craft Yard Shack, and we're back here today doing another challenge. This one is a thrift flip challenge, and you guys, we had so much fun with this because I love taking things and remaking them into something else. I'm so excited, so let's get to the craft desk and get started. Let's go. All right, here we go with DIY number 1. And for this DIY, I found this little vanity at the thrift store, and I'm going to redo it for my 2 youngest granddaughters. And what I'm going to do is, the drawer was coming apart, so I went ahead and started cleaning up all the super glue all the way around it. And if you look over at the vanity itself, that top shelf is coming apart, and so I'm going to fix these spots and glue it back together. Now I went to put that drawer face back on there and it wouldn't go in all the way, and so I took my drill and I drilled out the super glue that was in the little holes, because that was stopping those little pegs from going all the way in and this getting flush with the drawer itself. Then once I did that, I took a piece of sanding block from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going and removing the super glue off of all of these pieces because I wanted that drawer face to fit flush on the drawer and not be rocking back and forth like it is right now. There's one thing I forgot to tell you before I got started on this. Now, see that crack right there? It's coming apart on both sides, so I'm going to put some E600 in there, and then I'm going to put a clamp on this on both sides. I didn't use wood glue at this point because some of that had a finish on it, and so I figured the E600 would be better. Now, what I forgot to tell you is, when I started out, this little thing was covered in ink spots and paint, and it had little stickers all over it, and I went through with a baby wipe and some alcohol and cleaned all of that off of this before I even started the video. Now, I did go in there and put clamps on it, and I also put some painter's tape on it to hold it tight. And then the next thing I'm going to do is get that drawer assembled. Now, the next thing I do is I take out my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and all of those bare spots that are there on this drawer face, I'm going to take and fill that in with the Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint, and then I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to glue the drawer together. Now, the next thing I do is I'm looking at where the piece was glued together. Now everything is dry. I've waited 24 hours. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking my paintbrush and I'm trying to shove some paint into that crack so the crack disappears. And then I'll finish letting this dry, and we'll see this at the final reveal. Well, okay, guess I need to put that handle on the drawer pull before we go to final reveal. And I also forgot about all the little things that go inside of this drawer. Each of those little places are marked with certain things. There's only one thing missing from it, and that's the little blow dryer. Now, here's all the little trinket things that were inside the box, and I'm showing you that, and I'm showing you that I got the little lights working and everything. Okay, you guys will see at the final reveal now. Okay, today's challenge is Third Thursday Thrift Flips Challenge, and it is hosted by Southern Gmore Gals, Tammy at the Rusted Willow, and the Chic Show. And you guys, if y'all are ever interested in joining some of these challenges, do so. Just direct message these ladies and get started. It's a lot of fun. Plus, you'll also get to know a lot of other ladies on the playlist that's in the description box below of all the other ladies that are participating. So y'all go check them out. And here we go with DIY number 2. Now this one's pretty simple. I got this frame at the thrift store. It says $2.99, but I'm sure I only paid half of that, which is about $1.50. It had some little cracks in it, so what I'm going to do is get my lightweight spackling out, and I'm going to fill in all those little cracks because I do want them to look nice. So I go through and I rub some of that spackling down into the joint, and then I wipe the rest of it off with my finger so that there's no sanding needed after you do this part. Now after I finished that, I took out some red crimson and some nutmeg by Apple Barrel, and I'm going over the spots where I put the spackling because I want this to blend in. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the brown and the red on. Now my brush is double loaded. If you don't know what that is, there's other videos where I show doing that. Now after I put it on there, then I took a baby wipe and wiped it off. Now I'm gonna, and it stayed, what stayed in the cracks is what I was wanting. So now I'm going to take all the little stickers off the back, and I'm going to take this piece off, and we're going to change the picture. And then I had this Christmas card that I just absolutely love, and I took and put it in the frame and locked everything down so that it's ready to be looked at. And we'll see this at the final reveal. Now I didn't do much more with this because I didn't want to title that frame to just Christmas. Now at this time we'd like to thank our subscribers. Thanks for subscribing. We love you bunches. Here we go with DIY number 3. Now this little reindeer I found at the thrift store. It was originally bought from Walmart and they had it marked for $3. So I'm going to take, and I think I got it even half of that. So I'm going to take all the little wires off to take this reindeer off of this, and I'm going to save that wreath for another project. Now I'm going to take out these little wires and take off all the stickers, but don't get rid of those little wires because we're going to use them in this project. So the next thing I did is, there's a wonderful view of my desk. Oh my goodness, I need to clean it up. So what I did is I took some white paint and coated the whole thing white. Why? Is because we want our colors to pop. Now that we have the it's white and it's all dry, now we're going to put 2 different color browns, a darker brown, which I think is Choc Sprinkle, and a light brown, which is Nutmeg. And we're going to double load our brush. You see me over there loading it. And I am just going to make sure that I keep the light on the outside and the dark on the inside. And this is going to shade my little antlers, you guys. And you just keep moving that around, making sure you keep your brush with the light side to the outside. And the next thing we're going to do is, once we get his antlers done, we are going to work on his little face. Now for his face, I'm adding white and chocolate. Now my white and my chocolate wasn't sitting side by side. Now I'm going to put the light color to the inside this time. And I'm going to go all the way around, and I'm going to keep brushing this on. Now when you put this on, you're going to want to make sure your paintbrush is good and loaded, because see how that looks dry right there on my picture? That's because I didn't have enough paint on my brush. But once you get enough paint going on your brush, you won't have that problem. And then I'm going to go all the way around his face and blend his whole face in, doing this same method with the white on the inside. And see over here on this side where I started getting more paint on my brush, how my brush floats. Now when you put it on, you're going to press down. When you get ready to take your brush off, you're going to slowly start lifting up, and that keeps from creating that ending line or the beginning line, and it helps to blend your paint better. Now as you're doing it, if you don't like how it's turning out, you can and I did this little ears too, you can just go over it again. My face turned out a little bit lighter and my ears turned out a little bit darker, so I needed to go back and blend my face some more. And so you can see where when I get to the end of the stroke, you start lifting your brush up. And when you're in the middle of the stroke, you're actually pushing down. And you guys, this little reindeer is so adorable. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I want a lighter brown, and I'm going to paint my little tuft at the top of his head. And then after that, I also went and painted that little spot right below his face because that's part of his neck. Now the next thing I'm going to do is take some pink and white, and I'm going to add that to his ears, and I'm going to do it to both sides. Now I couldn't decide whether I wanted to make little ovals or whether I wanted to make little just little lines, and I decided to make the little oval type shape. And you just, as you do this, you just turn your brush, and this creates the little opening in his ears. This turned out so adorable. I can't wait till we start adding other colors. So now we're going to paint his nose, and I'm going to do pink and red on his nose. And I'm going to put the pink to the inside because that's where the little shimmer would be anyway. And this helps highlight your project so that when you get ready to go and add your doodling, it kind of tells you where to go at it at. And so I'm just painting his nose till I get it like I like it. Alright, the next little thing I'm going to do is paint a scarf. I thought I was going to use this brush, but I ended up not using it. Now for his little scarf, I put a light green and a dark green. You see me loading it on my plate over there, and I'm going to just make my little scarf pieces, and everywhere there's a piece of the dark, that's where the new stripe starts. And to see how this plays to your advantage in helping you highlight your project so that when you get ready to do your doodling, this is already done for you. This is really easy. I encourage each of you to take your paints out and just practice double loading your brush, and make sure you got a lot of paint on your brush when you're doing that. So you just keep wiping back and forth in your paint to get that double load like I'm doing here. Now I also make sure I go around and do all the little edges on this, and then I was showing you that spot on top of his nose that I missed. I'll have to go back and touch that up. Okay, then the next thing I do after this is all dry, I get out my Posca markers and I pull out the colors I think I'm going to use, and I lay them to the side. Now I just start doodling on this project, but Charlene, he don't have no eyes. We're going to add them. Also, don't forget your large Sharpie marker and your little Sharpie marker. Now I'm just going to go through and highlight all the edges of this so that it has an outline to it, and then everywhere there's a dark stripe, I'm just going to put a little mark. I don't follow through with my whole mark, I just do a little bit of it. And you guys, you don't have to be perfect on this. If you mess it up, it's just paint it again. It's that easy. After I get done with my black marker, I'll take my green one, my little skinny one, and I'll do doodle marks all the way through this, because this is what makes your project pop, is when you start adding these different dimensions to it. And I'm just taking and putting on some white, taking some pink, and I'm going around his ears. And then I'm going to go back and put some white in there, some little dots, put me a little shine on his nose and outline it in the black. And then I'll outline that, and then I'll go back and I'll go all the way around his little face, and it's just starting to come to life. Yeah, but he doesn't have a mouth or eyes yet. That's okay. We're going to give him some in just a minute, but we thought he'd get him all ready before he looked at himself. Now the next thing I'm going to do is give him his little eyes, and then I'm going to fill that in with some white and put a little black and a little white dots, give him his mouth, and add some little white so that we can add red to make it pop, and some little shine on his antlers and embellishments around his face. Oh, he is so adorable. See, I didn't like it, so I covered it up with paint, and I'm going to redo it after it dries. And then after that, then you're going to take the little wires that was holding them to the wreath, and you're going to take and curl them around a stick or something, and then stick them in his ears so that they stick out, and isn't that so adorable? Okay, so there I'm showing you how I wrapped it up, and I was thinking about putting one up top. Now here we go with DIY number 4. Now this one's a mashup of number 3 and number 2. DIY number 3 and number 2. We're going to take that frame that we got, and we are going to put some Velcro on it, and we're going to put Velcro on the little reindeer that we just painted and got dry. So why am I putting Velcro on the reindeer and the frame is because I want to make this be interchangeable throughout the year so that I can put something different on it and a different picture in it at different times of the year. And by taking this little reindeer and doing that, I can take and change it out by just changing this and then changing the card on the inside. And I thought this was a cute little way to show using the reindeer other than being just on a wreath. So yeah, you see I'm struggling with getting that to stay because I'm an impatient crafter. Okay, so I'm gonna glue this on for one last time. I'm gonna take it and set it aside, let it dry, and we'll see it at the final reveal. Okay, today's video again is the third Thursday thrift flip, and it's where we take something from the thrift store, turn it into something else, and it's hosted by Southern Gmore Gal or Southern Gmore Gal and Rusted Willow and the Chic Show. And there's a playlist in the description box below of all the other crafters that are participating in this. Y'all go check them out because there's some awesome crafters out there. Now here's all the other places you can find us on social media. Go check us out. And here's the final reveal. Now this first one, I saw a picture of myself in the mirror and I was like, don't I look crazy? And so I made a face while I was doing it. And then I got out of the way, or no, I didn't get out of the way here. I got out of the way here, and I am actually showing you that everything works. And here's our little picture frame we did, DIY number 2, and DIY number 3 was our little reindeer we painted. And here's our mashup DIY with both of them together. Alright y'all, we're back from the craftist and all these little items turned out so adorable. We look forward to doing more projects like this next year. And you guys, if y'all like this video, check out the host and the co-host and the people on the playlist because they're doing some awesome projects and there's so much more out there for you to discover. So go check them out. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, subscribe because it's free and because you don't want to miss another episode because we're always doing something fun and learning something new here at the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.
Yeah, don't say that. Just gonna be happy. Alright, y'all, we're back from the craftist. These projects turned out so cute. I want to, something. Content and... not reading the list. Don't miss out on any of our special events. And we'll see y'all later. Yeah, I was doing so good. Challenge. And you guys, yeah, I made a list. I'm not reading it. Because they're really good at what they do. And they've been, yep. And because you don't want to miss another episode because we're always doing something fun and learning something new here at the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye.